online haircut.
What is up, guys? It's the Avenues podcast, back with episode 207. Today, we are back in the garage because I had graduation on Thursday, so the studio time that was booked for Thursday, we couldn't actually film in there because I had my graduation mass and stuff. And then next week, we'll probably be either back in here or in the room, just because studio time, same thing. Colin's got his graduation ceremony, so busy month for us. We're just finishing up school now. Technically I'm graduated now. You're almost graduated.
I'm done. I'm done high school, but it's I gotta graduate. Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta do your graduation. So, yeah, that's basically why we're filming in here today. Obviously, it's pretty warm in here again.
It's not that bad in here.
I remember we used to how warm is it in here? And we check the temperature.
I think at one point, 2 summers ago, it was 30s.
Yeah.
I think it was 35 in here one time.
Yeah.
I remember you were like, holy fuck, it's hot in here.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's way better in here than it would be the studio. The studio at this time of the year gets pretty hot.
Yeah.
It's just we get the fan in there, and that's sometimes with the audio screwed up.
Sometimes it's broken too. No, they got rid of the fan.
Oh yeah,
they did. So now we're
they
fucked.
removed it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole big. I don't know. It's all weird there, but we're in here, and it's gonna be a good episode. And yeah, I'm excited for it. So, I guess, do you want to just kick us off with whatever you want to talk about?
Sure.
Today?
This week, unfortunate. Well, I don't know if I was sad. It's sad. It was my last day of high school this week. Crazy. Wednesday was my last day, and I was on a very fucking strict schedule. I was exhausted by the end of the day. So I had the last 4 days of school, we had extended blocks because we didn't meet the amount of time required for the education. By law, you're supposed to have a certain amount of time. So we didn't have that amount of time because of snow days. So we had 3 snow days in a row. Remember that? And then we had party days and stuff. So we had what's called extended blocks. So with these extended blocks, we had 2 classes a day for 2.5 hours straight. So I would have my first class from 9:10 to 11:40 with a 10-minute break in between, and then lunch for 50 minutes, and then I would have I would have lunch for 50 minutes, and then I would have another class after that from 12:30 to 3 o'clock. On Wednesday, I had my spare in the morning, and then I had my science class with a final exam. So I had to go into school early for tutorial time to get a mark that I received on a Spanish project that I didn't get to see my mark with. So what I ended up doing is I went in early, got that mark, and I was like, I'm here. I'm just going to stay here and study instead of going home and getting distracted. So I stayed home. So I stayed at school, studied for a normal amount of class time for one class, an hour and 10, and then I left. The announcements, it was it's the grade 12's the last announcements, hope you guys have a good life, blah, blah, blah. And then after an hour and 10, went home, worked. I actually, because I had time, so I worked, and then finished that, went back to school for lunch, got my shirt signed because we were doing the white t-shirt signing. Had my final exam in science, and then that was it. And I went home and rewind it back. Actually, no. I'm trying to see where I could say each part of the story. I'll just leave it at that for now. And then that was my last day of school. Now, this week I watched a lot of movies retaining to the time that we're in my life right now. So, for example, the last day of school is coming up, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch a lot of movies retaining to the last day of school, right? Get in the mood. And I watched for the first time Late in America with K.S.I. and Casper Lee. The movie premiere in the video with Halal Ham. Here he interviewed.
Yeah.
So The movie, like, I saw had a lot of bad reviews. But I was like, fuck it, it's a KSI movie. I hadn't watched it when it came out. I was 10 years old, and no wonder I didn't hear about it because it's like pretty like mature. It was pretty good. I actually did like it. It was pretty funny. Like, people were saying that it was funny, so I did find it pretty funny. The acting, some of it was like bad acting, but they also had like actors in it that we've seen in movies. Like, who's that guy, the Japanese comedian that was on like Joe Rogan and Impulsive? The guy that had like beef with George Janko.
Like Bobby Lee, right?
He was in it. He was really good. His role was pretty good. He played Goose, and that was pretty good. So I would recommend, if anyone likes something to watch over the summer and they like that sort of thing. It was kind of like American Pie, but I did not like American Pie. Like, this was like better, because it's not like as much horny. Like, dude, that shit was so bad, American Pie. Anyway, if you also see us waving, it's because the motion sensor is acting really weird. So, we gotta like be expressive more or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I watched that, and then I watched on the day before the last day of school, I watched the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days movie, which it's the last day of grade 7 for Greg. He's graduating middle school, or no,
elementary school or some shit. I guess it's middle school.
No, it's just like going on to the next year, middle school. So he's leaving grade 7, going into the 8th grade, and he tries to get his yearbook signed like after the bell rings to go out for summer, and Holly Hills doesn't put the digit in. Like, she like had to go, so like
he tries every single
one.
one. Right?
It's that one. And then the country club, how he goes to the country club and tries to like get in. And it was a good movie. It's kind of short, but it was a good movie, dude. I hadn't watched it in a long time, and bro, even though I haven't watched it in a long time, I did not realize that it was filmed in Vancouver at the Playland.
Was it actually?
Yes, it was filmed at Playland. You know the scene where they're at the whatever they called the ride, the the pendulum one in Vancouver. It was called the not Hell's Gate. It was called the sort of the P. You know the one I'm talking about? It's like gone now.
Chip one? Like
No, the pendulum where two people sit and it goes like that. It's a long.
Oh, yeah. The one you pay for, right?
Yeah. So
I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's gone now. They got rid of it last summer, but I don't know why anyone would go on it, but I never really saw a big line for it, obviously. Anyway, so they went on that, and I forgot what it was called in the movie, but you know the scene where they go on it?
Doesn't him and Rowley go on it?
Yeah, they go on it, and there's no, it was scary for them because some guy got his head cut off like a week or two before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they're showing shots of them in the carriage, and you could see like Grouse Mountain in the background.
Really?
At first, I was like, "Is this Playland?" The first scene where they enter, where they're on the pier, that was like filmed in Boston. You can tell that that's not Playland because there's a pier. Yeah. But then when they go onto the pier, you can I saw the atmosphere and I saw the corkscrew. Yeah. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's obviously insane. Playland." Yeah. And I was like, "How did I not notice that?" Yeah. You could see the corkscrew in the background. Like, everything's pretty much the same as it is today. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then, so that was that for Dog Days. Pretty good movie. And then they just spent the time at summer, right? Summer stuff. And dude, I found it funny. Like, bro, that's low key me. How he was talking about how, like, a lot of their family stuff kind of is how my family was, so it's kind of like relatable almost, like how me and my brother, like, our relationship was kind of like Roderick and Greg. But also he was like, "I just want to stay inside and play Twisted Wizard all day for the whole summer." And I remember, like, bro, double XP weekend, and like, I remember one time, like one summer in like grade 10 or 9, I actually did spend a lot of time in front of the fucking Call of Duty, and like my mom was like, "Dude, you gotta get out." And then the whole movie premise was kind of around him trying to like fake going outside.
Yeah, so we could stay.
So that was pretty good. And then the last movie I watched during the week of the last day of school, I went home and watched one of my favorite movies ever, Grown Ups 2. And in that movie, it starts the movie off with the high school, like the kids in middle school and high school, like the family, right? They go to school and they go to the last day of school before summer, and then the bell rings, summer goes out, and then it's just like, summer fun. And of course they have the big party with that scene. Again, they have like, it says class of, like, congratulations, graduates, class of 2013. And then it has like this is a banner like over the school.
Yeah.
And they had grad pranks on the last day with the principal, where they like spray painted his car and they put slime in his car, so when you open it up, it came all out. And then as he was doing the announcements for the last day of school, he's like, another year had went by, which means another year of learning, of creativity, and hopefully a little bit of fun. And I think he said, like, just because school ends now, that doesn't mean our learning in life has to stop.
Yeah.
He was having a good speech. And then the bell rings and everyone just leaves. And he's like, I'm not done. Please sit. And then he couldn't finish because, in like Walmart or something, they have tiles above like the roof where you can open the tiles. Like
like the push ones.
There was 2 students that went in there and poured paint on the guy. Bro, imagine if that was real life.
Yeah, you get fucking like suspended, bro.
That would be crazy. No banquet for you.
Yeah.
Bro, anyway, so I watched that. So all these, last day of school movies, like a lot of you guys probably think it's cringy, but I did it to kind of like add to the hype of it,
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty good. And I also finally watched Bad Boys 4, Ride or Die, and it was very good. Dude, I don't remember a time where I laughed out loud in a theater, but I was laughing out loud in a theater with this movie. The soundtrack of the movie was good. Not as good as the last one I talked about on here before, that the last movie, Bad Boys for Life, the third one. The soundtrack I really liked, and I still listen to today. It had like Rick Ross on it. It had Meek Mill. It was a really good soundtrack that these artists made specifically for the movie. Another good movie with that was Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good songs. Nav. They had so many good features. Nav, Metro Booming, Future, Travis Scott. So good. This movie, some big names. They had Sean Paul, Flo Milli, Becky G, and Will Smith was actually on a song with Sean Paul. And it was actually, there was some good songs. Some songs were not that great, but the ones that, like, there were a good amount of songs that are good. So I will be continuing to listen to the soundtrack. I've been listening to that. And it's like summer themed, right?
Yeah.
So it's like summer rap, summer pop. It's really good. I haven't heard any Sean Paul like songs like this in a while that are this good from Sean Paul. So that's pretty sick. The movie, really funny. I'm not going to talk about it too much in detail, but I don't know if you want to see it, but it's just kind of a lot to talk about. Really good. Really happy with it. Really, really funny. The plot was really good. And they brought, like, I already knew this, but they really did bring every, like, moment from each movie incorporated into this one. Like, some of the scenes were identical. Really? Like, literally identical. So that's pretty cool. They pulled that off well. And they're in talks of making another one. So I'm looking forward to that.
So it didn't end the franchise?
No, it did not, yeah. It was a really good way to kick off the summer. I watched it on the last after the last day of school. And really fun. And I've been watching another... Okay, I swear this is the last one. Another movie I watched was Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. I watched it yesterday because it takes place a day before the summer solstice, and he's trying to get the lightning bolt to Zeus before the summer solstice. It's another good movie. And again, I didn't realize it was filmed in Vancouver.
Really?
I'm not kidding. So when they're in... I was like, I never noticed it because I didn't look in the background, but I was looking at the background and I was like, that looks like Vancouver. It looks like mountains from like Sea to Sky Highway. So I like quickly Googled it, and it was one of the locations. New York was in one of them, Vancouver. So Camp Half-Blood is on an island that you like take the ferry. You know those like islands you see, those small islands?
Yeah, yeah.
It was one of those.
No way.
So Camp Half-Blood was filmed in BC, like off of Vancouver.
Wow.
And the forest just looks like a BC forest too. So that's really cool. Another good movie, and I think this summer a movie series that are I'm trying to watch some TV this summer, trying to get into a TV show. I was thinking about She-Hulk. I heard it's really bad, but it's pretty important for the multiverse right now, so I think I'm gonna watch it. But I should watch the Percy Jackson TV show, the one where he's actually a kid, because I heard it was really good.
Yeah, I heard that too.
We talked about it a little bit on here, but I heard it was really good. So I think I'm going to try to watch that this summer. And fuck it, I may as well watch the second one, the second movie while I'm at it. The second movie of Percy Jackson was my favorite. That was actually the first one I watched. It was pretty good. I watched that like around the time it came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So, yeah, that's kind of all my thoughts on each movie. A little bit of a movie review there.
Yeah.
I'm going to hand it to you because I've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
And they probably clicked off by now.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown of my week. Just lots of stuff happening for me. So, like Colin said, he finished his last day of school. My last day of school was like last week. That's what the whole video was about. But, so I finished my last day a week ago, but I just finished my exams this week. So this week, Tuesday, I had my final exam, psychology. Super easy exam. We pretty much had the exact test, the actual exam. Someone got pictures of it. I'm not going to get too...
Shout them out.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that. But we basically had the exam, and I pretty much memorized all the answers. So it was pretty...
So you cheated?
I mean, it's just like, I was just studying, you know?
Yeah.
I just studying with like some really good review material.
I wouldn't really say that's cheating, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I understood, like, you know what I mean? Anyways, so I did that exam on Tuesday, and then just playing some golf. I've been playing a lot of golf recently, summer. I feel like the two main things...
Bro, we've been saying summer in like every sentence.
No, but honestly, bro, it's like, that's like a summer-themed episode. Yeah. It's like the start of the summer. I'm like, honestly, the summer is probably my favorite... like season.
Yeah, Sam, easily.
Like it's just like today, I mean even today, like I'm just like going every which way right now, but like I don't know, man. It was so nice. We went to the basketball court. I was playing pickleball with Jackson, the ex-filmer here, and Colin was there with this other guy. We're not gonna we could name drop him, but anyways, so we were playing basketball, pickleball. Like it just kind of reminded me of like our childhood. Like we used to like every day pretty much. It's like like we'd call each other like, oh, let's go to the basketball court, play like all day,
and like end up back at someone's house.
Yeah, at someone's house, get an ice cream. Then you like you go in the morning,
or like I remember we had freezies.
Oh yeah, all the time. Like and then, like you go to someone's house, or like you play basketball and you go play video games inside for a little bit,
or even bike ride.
Oh yeah, bike ride.
Yeah,
like,
and then come back home.
Yeah, but like today was like nostalgic in that sense.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Definitely like revisiting all that. But yeah, I love doing that, just spending time outside and enjoying the weather. But so yeah, I've been golfing a lot too. I went with my family on Father's Day. We did that, and then also went on Tuesday. But then I did this. It was like this professional speed dating networking event that was organized with my school. Yeah. So what they did is you signed up for this event. You pay like $10 or whatever, and a bunch of people. Like people's parents that are doing a bunch of different occupations. So you had some people doing like marketing. You had other people like entrepreneurs. You had people in real estate, physiotherapy, police officer, pilot, just a bunch of different occupations. And basically you're given a card beforehand. You set like you do Google Forms of like what you're interested, what you want to do next year in in university, or if you're in grade 11, just what you want to do later on. And you go talk to these people and just network with them. You like ask them questions about their job. They tell you a little bit about their story, and just get to connect with people. So I went to that, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very valuable. We talked about it on here, like LinkedIn and stuff. That was also a segment.
Did you add me back on LinkedIn?
I did, bro. We're at it.
I just a small topic here.
Yeah.
Do you ever get like notifications where they're like someone has seen your profile?
Yeah.
I have that all the time. I don't know if it's like bullshit and they just want me to pay to see it,
Yeah.
or if they actually.
I don't know. It's like it's weird, dude. LinkedIn's a little weird sometimes, and also like you can see who views your profile.
If you buy it though, no, like if you buy
that's like if you can see like who searched. I think for your profile. I had like a couple in there like the other week. I was like, oh, it's kind of weird.
So you could
Who's
see
searching for me.
So you could see who searched.
Yeah, if you pay for it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But you can see who like looked at your profile.
If you pay.
No, for free. I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
Dude, my sister. This is like another off-topic thing, but my sister said, she said it's really funny. This one girl, like one of her friends, was like dating this guy, and she had like blocked him on everything, and she got a notification that he was like looking at her LinkedIn profile. And then you can check obviously, right, with like the on LinkedIn. But anyways,
That's pretty embarrassing.
yeah. So, I mean, I digress. But yeah, basically, I went to this like networking event and talked to some pretty interesting people, and it was really like comforting knowing like
That you're networking.
well, well, yeah, that too. But it was comforting knowing like a lot of these people did not have like a linear path. Like I feel like a lot
That's
of
so
like
natural.
adults make it like made out to be like you have to go from high school and you have to know exactly what you want to do, go into this major,
Yeah.
this and that and this. But like hearing this one guy is like he finished high school, he went into like policing and stuff. So he went to police school for a bit, or like he said it was like 6 months training thing. Started being a police officer a bit, and then he was like, oh, I want to go back to school and pursue. I think it was like teaching, or it was entrepreneurship or something, or it was business. So he goes back in. He goes from like Vancouver. He goes all the way to like McGill. He does like masters in business. He finishes that. He comes back here. Then he starts doing his own starts his own company, doing a little bit of entrepreneurship. He was doing that while he was at the university doing his masters. He ends up like finishing that and then going full time, quitting his job, going into that. Then he does teaching and stuff at
Everything.
local university. So it's just cool to see how it's not like one linear path. And then he was just giving us advice like, you know what, like he's like, I could quit my job tomorrow and be fine for the rest of my life. He's like, as long as you manage, he's like, it's not about how much money you have, but like how you manage the money that you do have now.
I think it's a bit of both though.
Yeah, but like if you can like, I mean, this guy's older. I mean, he's probably like 40s and 50s ish around there. But he was just saying like if you can manage your money and just understand like where to put your money, where to invest it, and like how to diversify your portfolio, all that stuff, you can be pretty comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that was interesting too. And also just he was saying just like follow your passion. Like one like piece of advice he gave to me is like a lot of people complicate the idea of I'm into this, or like I really enjoy this, it's my passion and I want to have this specific job title at this age at this time. Like he said, don't overcomplicate it. If you like something, just do that thing as much as you
naturally.
can and you'll find something there, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's another
It's good advice.
Yeah, like it was just interesting, and like talking to people that are older than you that have like been through the same thing, I think is very important. So
It's valuable. Yeah.
I thought it was really cool and I really enjoyed that event. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That happened this week as well. And then Wednesday, I went to UVic for the first time. Me and a bunch of guys from my school. It was five of us.
Did you vlog it?
I did not vlog it.
Dang.
But we did. I mean, there's some pictures, but like we didn't like vlog it. Like five of us went. We drove out from Vancouver to Tawasin, took the ferry across, went to the university, checked it out. Checked out like the residence buildings. Not like inside, but just like where they were and stuff. Checked out some of the facilities, like the library, the like student union building, and like the gym and stuff as well. So we did that, and then we also just checked out like Victoria's as a whole. So I hadn't been to Victoria probably since grade 7 for a field trip I did, and we went to that trip. We went like down to downtown Victoria where all like the Parliament buildings are. But so yeah, we toured the university. We went downtown Victoria. We drove around a little bit, checked out some spots, and then we came back on the ferry. But long day. I left around 9 o'clock, and I got back home. I had to drive some friends home as well around like 11 o'clock. So it was just like a long day. But it was very fun, and I enjoyed it.
Did you get to see where you're going to be staying in the dorm?
I did, but I didn't actually get to go inside of it.
Yeah, there's probably someone in there, no?
Yeah, they're doing summer courses now as well. So there was actually like students in the campus, but we were just walking around like throughout the campus. So it wasn't. I don't know. It was good.
All right.
All right. So then another thing that happened this week was my graduation, my commencement ceremony. That actually happened yesterday, which is Thursday, as the date of recording. So yeah, Thursday we had the commencement ceremony. Big stuff. Basically, I had to be there for 5 o'clock, which is pretty brutal considering that it was like an hour away from my house. So it was like rush hour traffic. I was driving to my friends, and it took a little bit to get out there. But we basically got there. We had like a rehearsal of what to do. So they basically line you up alphabetically, or like your last name. And so you get lined up, you get given a number. I was number 86. And then they put you in between like the two people ahead of you, whatever. And then we basically walked down like the foyer, I guess, into our seats. And then they basically were like calling people up to like get the diploma. So how it worked is like they do one row at a time. So like one row would stand up, walk to the backstage, and then walk across the stage, get the diploma, shake the hands, whatever, and then come back down and sit down. So that was how they did it. So we did like a rehearsal, I guess, and then they gave us our caps there at the thing. So we had the gowns like from a week before or whatever, because we had them for like some graduation mass thing. So we had the gowns before, but we got the caps then. So they gave us the caps. We had like a lot of people use like bobby pins and stuff because that like the hats
For their hair, right?
suck. Like they're like really like big and they fit really weirdly. So like I was like, how am I gonna like? Do I just like put all my hair back and look like bald, or do I put my hair out and look like an idiot? So I was just like, everyone's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like we're gonna look so dumb. So everyone was in the washroom for like 10 minutes, like figuring out like what to do with the cap and their hair and stuff. But anyway, so we did that, and then the parents and stuff. The like ceremony started around 7, so people started filing in. Everyone was just kind of sitting, waiting, and then we had the real deal. So you go in, the music's playing, you walk down the aisle, you sit down in your spot, and then they had some speeches. They had a speech from the principal, which was actually really good, and it touches kind of on what you were saying before about like the lifelong learning thing. He's like, I mean, I go to no, but we're going to I go to a Catholic school, so they're talking about like
You'll figure out where he goes.
No,
He's gone.
Yeah, I'm not there anymore.
You want to tell him?
No, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm just gonna, because you could probably find, I don't know. But anyways, so they were talking about like, his speech was really good, and he was talking about like your faith is like one of the pillars, is something you take forward with you, and he said always, the school is always here, like never forget your little community back here, and you always have this with you, and he said like you can always come back and
seek help.
Yeah, seek help or advice or whatever it may be. So it was pretty cool. And the principal, I mean, I talked about this on here before probably, but this principal has only been here for a year. The other one got fired, who is like a long term. He's been there for like over 20 years. So this is a newer principal. He was like, his first year was with us, so he didn't really know us that well, but like he was a really nice guy, and I think he's really cool. I didn't talk to him that much. I didn't know him that well. But, like, his speech was really good, and, like, the times that I did talk to him, he's really, like, nice guy and just, I don't know, friendly, like, easy to talk to. So, I really liked his speech, and then they had one of the parents go in and, like, speak on behalf of the parents. So there's that, and then we had the actual, like, diploma. So, like I said, you stand up as a row, go to the back, you wait, and then they call your name. You walk across the stage, shake the hand, grab the diploma, get a picture, and then walk down the stage. But, like, honestly, bro, I was so nervous. I don't even know why. It's just, like...
I would be, too.
It's like...
I will be.
Yeah, there's, like, a big crowd of people there. You're
photos.
on the stage. Yeah, you're, like, they call your name. You're, like... I don't know. It's just, like, a big moment. And I was honestly like a little nervous doing it. I was like, oh, I like better not trip, or like my hat, like I hope my hat doesn't fall or whatever.
Gotcha hat.
So yeah, so I was nervous for that, but it ended up being good. To be honest, it was a bit of a blur. Like I just kind of like, I remember standing at the stage and just like, I remember just walking down past my family or whatever. But
one dude I was hanging out with last night, He graduated, and he got his diploma, and he did a backflip on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
pretty funny.
there
People
was-
were cheering and all that.
Yeah, there was people like, I mean, you see all those videos of people like gritting across the stage or tripping or doing backflips. I was like, dude, honestly, I'm not trying to do any like stupid shit.
Yeah,
like, you know what I
know.
mean? Like, it's like, I don't
You
know.
could fuck it up. Also,
It's kind of corny. Like, in my opinion.
yeah, no way. Some dude took a selfie. Like a selfie of himself in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
That's kind of funny. Like, there's some
Yeah.
that are like good, but I don't know. I personally was not going to be the one in my class to do that, so I didn't.
Anyone do it?
No, I think everything was pretty.
Should I be the one to do
straightforward.
it?
Yeah, dude. And okay, sorry to digress, but there was I saw this thing on Instagram, and this guy's like, he had this like small clothing brand or whatever that he started. And he's promoting online. He's like, guys, if you get me this many likes, I'll go to my graduation. Instead of wearing a suit, I'll wear like a whole track suit of my brand. And then he like ended up doing it, and I was just like, dude, like,
Yeah, I mean, we do that with a Hello Kitty, fucking Chuck E. Cheese.
yeah, but but that's different. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, and then he's like, I'll fly this guy out to my graduation, this celebrity guy, if you can get this many likes, if you notice my video. And it was a whole big thing. But I don't know. I personally am not for that. I just think it's kind of corny, and like,
Yeah, I think so.
especially when it's kind of a big moment, right? Like
Yeah.
graduating high school is
Well,
pretty.
don't you have
like,
your gown on? They can't see underneath.
yeah, you got a whole gown.
So what does it matter?
But like, I think he meant like, I'm not wearing the gown. I'm just. Wearing
Oh, can you even do that? Are you loud?
that. No, probably not. But that's why I mean, like he
Well, it would be.
that guy was like trying to do that. The only thing that did happen in terms of that, one of my friends, big Oilers fan, he had his gown like this, right? And for the picture, he unzips his gown.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's got the Oilers jersey there, and like everyone was like laughing and like clapping and stuff. It was pretty funny. So yeah, anyways, you get the diploma, you sit down, and then after all the diplomas were done, they did like award ceremony, and like for us, it took like forever. Basically, it was like the same like 10 kids winning awards over and over and over again. And what they had done is like, it's really dumb. They had 7 like waves of award like presenters. So they'd go up and they're like, this award goes to goes to the student who shows academic excellence and a background in faith, blah 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 blah. And then they go, the recipients are blah 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 blah. And then what would happen is they stand up, but like my row, this one girl won like 5 times, so I had to stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up.
Yeah,
sit
it's
down.
lucky annoying.
It's so annoying. And then like Jackson's like, dude, why did they not just like say this person won 10 awards and just like
That would make the
send
most
them out?
sense.
Yeah, they should have done that, but they didn't, and it ended up taking like a couple hours. So after they did that, the valedictorian went to go say his speech, and the valedictorian, for all you wondering, was Harrison Taylor, who we've had on here before.
I want to
He
get
did
him
his-
on again. Shout out Harrison.
Yeah, dude. So he did his speech really good. He it was interesting. He started with Frank Sinatra. He basically took his cap off, put a little like Frank Sinatra hat on, and then he was singing like I did it my way. And then he basically had a speech which was about like, you know, his high school experience and like doing it my way. And then he was saying how like when he came in grade 8, he wanted to do film. He's like, I didn't want to do what my sister
Yeah.
did, doing all these math, sciences, blah, blah, blah.
He had his YouTube channel at the time.
Exactly.
HCCS.
And then now he's like, I'm doing like engineering. I'm pursuing engineering. And I'm
Yeah.
like, now I like completely changed. But he said like, then he talked about, he's like, I couldn't do my way without like the people's way before me, like my parents and all like the people like supporting me. And anyways, his speech was really good. And we talked about it on here before, but like some of the valedictorian speeches are like corny or like they have this like certain tone which they speak. But Harrison's is really good, and like maybe just because I know him, but I thought I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was very good. So, shout out Harrison, valedictorian, with a great speech. And then after the speech, they basically had the technically the only part when you graduate is when you flip the tassel from the left to the right on your hat. So the valedictorian stands in the middle of the stage after his speech, and then he goes like 3, 2, 1, and he holds the tassel, and all the grads flip the tassel to the right, which like means you've graduated. And after that, we took the hats off, throw them up.
Yeah, just do it in your seat. Just like, oh, guess what? A little early.
Yeah. So they like flip the tassels and take it off and throw the hats. and then they're like, beforehand they're like, guys, don't throw the hats too high because if you do, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep it.
Yeah.
But then also it's really funny because I was on the end of the row. They're like, don't throw the hat too high because it could hit the people. Like, I'm sitting next to a bunch of parents and teachers and stuff, and like there's same thing for the other people. But I threw my shit so high and I threw it like to the right that it like hit some guy, and I just pretended to like not. I was like looking this way, and then the guy was like, here's your hat. I'm like, oh, thanks, man, because I didn't want to like lose it. And I was like, oh shit, but I ended up getting it back, and then that was it.
What if he
like,
puts it on? Just leave.
yeah, he puts it on and walks out with it. Yeah, I could have,
So
bro.
funny.
I would have been pissed.
Like,
But,
I never graduated.
yeah. So after we threw the hats, that like basically concludes it, and then we walked out, got photos.
How does it feel that you're done high school?
It's really weird, honestly. To be honest, like it still hasn't like hit. Like I feel like it won't ever hit. It will just be like, oh, okay, I'm like done.
I think you're right. It has not hit for me that I've like finished school. Also, I never thought that this day would really come, if I'm honest with you. It seems so far away. So I had a question, pretty important question, like attaining to this. What was one thing that was different about you in grade 12 compared to all the other grades?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of things that are different, but I think the one thing in grade 12, that's interesting. I think probably just like routine and like consistency. I feel like this year I've been the most like consistent with like everything I do. And I think I've been a little better at like balancing stuff. Like there was times like grade 11 I was pretty bad at like balancing my workload, and like there was times where I like would not see friends. Like we talked about this before, but like I would like not see anyone for like a while, which is really bad. And like I was like on the super like locked in, like gotta get all this work done. And
can you grind two things at once?
Yeah, bro. Classic. No, exactly. But then like now it's like you just learn to balance it better. And I think that was like in grade 12 probably my biggest like what's different from all the other years. And then obviously in grade 8 it would have been different because I wasn't as like, I mean, school wasn't as hard. I didn't have as much, I guess I had like sports and stuff, but like the academic part was a little different. But yeah, in terms of like balancing and scheduling, I think that was probably the biggest thing for me in terms of like grade 12. And then also like one more thing to add to that is like I think just like friendships and stuff as well, like not just the people that I was in school with, but I think this may be like a universal grade 12 thing, but I feel like overall people become a little like closer.
Yes,
and
for
the
sure.
cliques kind of like not like completely dissolve. Like what I heard, like who's that one guy that he's like this business guy, like he pretty much yaps all the time. I forget his name. Can't think of it right now. But anyways, he was saying he wrote this book, or he like spoke about this thing. It was like the last month of school or whatever, and he's saying how everyone, like everything completely disappears, and like everyone hangs out with everyone, everyone's really nice and stuff, which is true to an extent. But to me, I like people still hang out with their friends, the people they like, but it definitely was more friendly. Like the people even in line in the like practicing for the commencement thing, I was chatting to people that I don't really chat to, you know what I mean, and talking to people and like, you know, reminiscing like, oh, do you remember this and this, and like because it's kind of it's a shared experience, right? Like with your grad class, like some of the things and the jokes that like only you will understand. Like
that's true.
Harrison had this joke about like the king of our school, which is like something that only like the grads would understand. So I don't know, there's just like some funny, I don't know, I think that's another thing that's like pretty distinct about grade 12 year. But yeah, those two things I think for me are like the most different. What would you say? Sorry.
I would say, well, overall, I'm more mature, a lot smarter, more knowledgeable, more wise. But I also was like, I talked about this a few episodes ago. Like I do feel ready to an extent because I see all these kids in my like school that are younger than me, and how like kind of feels like I'm ahead of them. Not to put myself over them value-wise, but it feels like I'm just, I don't know, more of a responsibility. Maybe that's just because I was in grade 12, but like taking care of like younger kids in the school, which I did a lot this year. Yeah. And like making sure everyone's good, or like, I don't know, just more compassionate maybe. I just think like I had a good response that I thought of, but then now it kind of is gone. I think overall, I'm just better in every aspect. Like I've improved in every aspect. Yeah. So yeah, that's for mine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, I think it was just like grade 12 year. A lot of people make it out like grade 11 is the hardest year, blah blah blah, and then grade 12 you don't have to try because you're already in universities. Like
That's not true.
it's not like it's like I think a lot of people lead you down the wrong path like that. Like
It also can be the hardest year for you, depending on what you do.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
that too. But since I didn't take any of the really hard classes that were offered to you in grade 11, because that's when that starts. That's when
Yeah.
it's like the first. That's when it's like the first year of when it gets hard.
Yeah, 'cause,
So
like, course
I didn't.
selection
Yeah, and I
this
didn't
that.
take any like pre-calc, like chem, like all that stuff you do, like with your science and with your math.
Yeah.
Now the grade 11 year is the time to choose that specifically. But for me, grade 12 was. I would say grade 12 was easier, yes, but that's just because like the transition I was used to into specific science, specific math, specific.
Yeah.
But I don't think it affected me that much because I wasn't taking any hard courses really. I mean, some stuff was hard, but it wasn't specifically hard courses.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think okay, so I don't think grade 12 is like grade 11 is hard and grade 12 is also hard. Like grade 12 is not like a breeze by any means because it's like if you're taking I did like pre-calc 11 and I took pre-calc 12. I also did bio 12, which is like I mean bio is easier than like physics 11 in my opinion. I did not do well in that class, but in physics, but I think it's not easier, but it's more like you know what you're getting yourself into because you signed up for these courses. Like there's some courses where it's like, okay, economics was one this year where it's like I knew it was going to be kind of a shitty course. I knew what I was getting myself into. And so in that respect, it was like hard, but it was like, okay, I knew what I'm getting myself into. Same with math. It's like pre-calc 12. It's like,
because you did a version of it before.
yeah, it's like I did a version of it before. Like pre-calc 12 is definitely hard, but you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So not to say that it's easier, but I think it's just like more so an extension of your grade 11 year. But
Yes.
why people say it's easier is because, oh, you get into university, this and that. Like, you still have to maintain your grades, right? Like,
You
don't
do.
let anyone fool you. Like, a lot of these, like, my admission thing, I have to have, like, above a 80 in English and 70 in math. So it's like, you have to keep above those grades.
Mhm.
But there is definitely a form, I think, like, for me, too, personally, like, the last couple of weeks, like, the last month, my grades dropped a little bit, which isn't, like, great. But at the end of the day, I got into my university, and that was like I had fun my last couple months.
It's kind of all that matters is getting into university you want because of your grades.
Exactly. So in that regard, I guess you can, but I would not recommend you like go bomb all your courses. Like I'm in, because you don't like. For me personally, I had exams and stuff too, so you have to make sure like I'm good for my exam.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's kids in my class who were like. They were putting in the final grade calculator. Oh, I need to score this and this on my exam to make sure I get into my school and program I want, whatever. So, yeah, like my advice would just be like, it's not easier, but it's like you know what you're getting yourself into, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, and related to the podcast, we're going into a new chapter in the podcast just by leaving high school because the only time we've done the podcast is when we're in high school.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're really like changing that up.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah, and then also, like, we haven't really talked about it on here, but, like, I'm moving away for school. So, I mean, I don't know how that will work, like, if we continue, like, even if that means, like, filming in the summers or, like, we both get it off, like, April in school or whatever. So, even if that means going there. But who knows, like, traveling might be a thing as well in the summer. Working and stuff, co-op terms, all this stuff. So, it's, like... new chapter of your life, really. So I don't know. We'll see, like, kind of how
we just don't know what's gonna happen yet. So
unfolds and stuff. Yeah,
just have to wait. The waiting game.
Exactly. We'll just see how it unfolds from here. So, yeah, I guess that concludes my sort of week review.
Last really quick thing here before we wrap it up. Euro has been going on. A lot of really interesting games. I'm rooting for Scotland, obviously, being Scottish. Yeah. And they had a horrible game against Germany, which I had watched, and that was probably the worst game of the whole tournament. And not only the worst game of the whole tournament, I've never seen Scotland play that bad. Germany's a really good team. I didn't expect them to win necessarily, but I didn't think that they would perform at such a low level, considering the squad that they have as well. We're missing a lot of players that are top tier players like Nathan Patterson, plays for Everton. Kieran Tierney just got injured at the 1-1 draw against Switzerland, so he's out for the rest of the Euro. He's going back to Arsenal to get assessed for his hamstring. And then we're missing Aaron Hickey. Like, there's about 4 or 5 guys that we could have that are top, like, tier guys that would be very useful. Steve Clark, the manager, I'm not a huge fan of. He had 3 in the back in the first game, and when Porteous was getting a bit frustrated and he got his red card, he took it out on the attacker. That really fucked it over, because then you got 2 defenders, which is really bad, especially since one of them is a center back, and you just got to drop your mids back more, which is you're going to get really tired really quickly.
Yeah.
So overall, that was a horrible game. Don't really want to talk about it too much, so I get mad. And then 1-1 against Switzerland. I think that was a decent game. McTominay, awesome goal. Switzerland and Scotland are pretty even in terms of skill. They can definitely. I'm going to watch the game, which would be today against Hungary, and if they won, then they're probably moving on to round of 16. If they lost, they're done. If they tie, small chance. So we'll see what happens. I really want them to move on, and a lot of people want them to move on. I looked at their comment section on Instagram, filled with German people saying, "We want you to move on. Let's go Scotland. Like, you guys were awesome to play against." Like, it's just Germans that were showing so much love,
really?
Which is kind of cool to see. I guess they're the hosts, so that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of it. Euro has been fun.
Yeah. What was the score of that Germany game? Wasn't it like
5-1?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll just end on that sad note. So thank you for watching. We will see you in the next episode. Make sure to click all the links in the description. Apple Music, Spotify, Instagram, all that good stuff in the description below. So we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.